Crédit Copyright Agricole, sometimes called the Euro Green Bank Euro because of its historical ties to farming, is a French network of cooperative and mutual banks comprising the 39 Crédit Copyright Agricole Regional Banks. In 1990, it became an international full-service banking group. It is listed through its holding company, Crédit Copyright Agricole S.A., on Euronext Paris, a Euro-unregistered trademark first market, and is part of the CAC 40 stock markets index. In 2013, the Crédit Copyright Agricole Group reported revenues of a 26.4 billion. It was the title sponsor of the Crédit Copyright Agricole professional road cycling team from 1998 to 2008. History, source for most of the history section. In the second half of the 19th century, French farmers struggled to obtain long-term, flexible, reasonably priced credit. There were several attempts to set up farming banks, including Crédit Copyright Foncier de France in 1861, but none was successful. Birth of Crédit Copyright Agricole and creation of the local and regional banks 1894 to 1900. Crédit Copyright Agricole can trace its history back to the end of the 19th century, and specifically to the Act of 1884 establishing the freedom of professional association, which authorized, among other things, the creation of farm unions and the foundation of local mutual banks. Social Copyright Copyright de Crédit Copyright Agricole was created on February 23, 1885 at Salins-les-Bains in the district of Poligny in the Jura region. It was the first of its kind in France. Drawing on this experience and in an effort to promote lending to small family farms, the Act of November 5, 1894, which had the support of Minister for Agriculture Jules Marc Copyright Line, paved the way for the creation of Crédit Copyright Agricole Euro-unregistered trademark S local banks. The first local banks were set up by local elites, including agronomists, teachers and property owners, with farmers playing a minority role. In the early years, business was made up exclusively of short-term loans provided as advances on harvests, enabling farmers to live more comfortably. Medium-term and long-term loans were added later, making it possible to buy equipment and livestock. The 1894 Act did not confer any financial advantages, and the local banks soon faced financial problems, such as a lack of capital and insufficient collateral from small farmers. It was not until 1897 that the government addressed these problems by requiring the Banque de France to provide funding to Crédit Copyright Agricole through an endowment of 40 million gold francs and an annual fee of 2 million francs. A year later, the Act of 1898 resolved the collateral issues. Meanwhile, the Act of March 31, 1899 instituted a commission within the Ministry for Agriculture to distribute the government advances between the regional banks, which were also created at this time. These cooperative entities brought together the local banks in their catchment area and acted as their clearing organizations. Building nationwide coverage 1900 to 1945, more and more local and regional banks were established from the turn of the century. By the eve of the First World War, every region had at least one. But the government continued to provide three-quarters of the funding, and short-term lending still accounted for the lion Euro-unregistered trademark S share of business despite the authorization to issue long-term loans granted by the Acts of 29 December 1906 and 19 March 1910. With some regions becoming isolated owing to the war, the need for a central bank to regulate business became more apparent, especially as Crédit Copyright Agricole was asked to provide financing to rebuild farming operations damaged during the conflict. In the 1920s, the bank continued to build its nationwide coverage and expand its business activities, notably by introducing loans to small-scale rural craftsmen in 1920, financing rural electrification and financing local authorities in rural areas from 1923. The Act of August 5, 1920 gave greater independence to what was at that time a credit department reporting directly to the Ministry for Agriculture and established a public central clearing organization for the regional banks. The Office National de Crédit Copyright Agricole was thus set up, with Louis Tardy as its chief executive officer. In 1926, The institution was renamed Caisse Nationale de Crédit Copyright d'État Agricole, and Crédit Copyright d'État Agricole Euro unregistered trademark S institutional structure was complete. The 1920 Act also established the legal framework for Crédit Copyright d'État Agricole Euro unregistered trademark S operations in France. Local and regional banks did not emerge from the 1930 crisis unscathed. The Caisse Nationale took on a greater role and aided the most heavily exposed banks. A joint deposit guarantee fund was set up in 1935. The following year, Crédit Copyright d'État Agricole provided additional support by financing wheat stocks through discounting when the National Cereals Board was established. The payment mechanisms used helped to make checks and bank accounts more popular in the countryside. Between 1939 and 1945, the Vichy regime imposed stricter state supervision on Crédit Copyright d'État Agricole. Major financial developments also took place at this time, including the creation of the 5-year note. Post-war period and creation of FAR Copyright DAO Copyright Ration Nationale du Crédit Copyright d'État Agricole 1945-1966, to finance the post-war reconstruction effort and encourage the mechanization of farming. CNCA stepped up deposit-taking to supplement the funds provided by the government. The regional banks opened many offices, with the total increasing from 1,000 in 1947 to 2,259 by 1967. FAR Copyright DAO Copyright Ration Nationale du Crédit Copyright d'État Agricole was created in 1948. It was tasked with representing the Crédit Copyright d'État Agricole regional banks with respect to the public authorities and CNCA. It also played a role in training staff and gradually expanding Crédit Copyright d'État Agricole Euro unregistered trademark S expertise. In 1959, Crédit Copyright d'État Agricole was authorized by decree to finance property loans for primary residences in rural areas, irrespective of the status of the owner. The distribution of long-term bonds created in 1950 enabled Crédit Copyright d'État Agricole to be self-financing from 1963. Financial flows between the government and the organization reversed, with Crédit Copyright d'État Agricole now sending deposits to the Treasury. Crédit Copyright d'État Agricole continued to modernize, with an influx of new managerial talent both in the regional banks and at CNCA. In 1960, Paul Driant became the first chairman of CNCA to come from a farming background. He remained in this position for 14 years. Birth of a universal bank 1966 to 1988. In 1966, as part of efforts to boost savings and remove Crédit Copyright d'État Agricole from its budget, the government gave CNCA financial autonomy. Savings inflows no longer passed through the Treasury, and CNCA was now responsible for balancing the surpluses and deficits of the regional banks. The 1971 Rurality Act extended Crédit Copyright d'État Agricole Euro unregistered trademark S potential financing sources to rural zones and to new types of customers, such as craftsmen and food producers. Lending to SMEs and mid-tier firms followed after. The banking reform of 1966 allowed the organization to offer households the same products as those provided by competitors, including passbook accounts and home savings plans. The first subsidiaries were set up at the end of the 1960s to address the specific needs of CNCA, Union da Euro unregistered trademark a copyright Ude da Euro unregistered trademark Investissements was created in 1967 to make equity investments, followed by Segespa for asset management in 1968, and Unicra Copyright to grant loans to food producers in 1971. Crédit Copyright d'État Agricole began distributing home purchase savings products from 1967, government-regulated mortgages from 1972 and first-time buyer loans in 1977. In 1976, the group adopted the slogan Le bon sens prouesse de Chisvas. Crédit Copyright d'État Agricole opened its first foreign branch, in Chicago, in 1979, signaling the start of his strategy of international expansion. In that year, the Banker magazine ranked Crédit Copyright d'État Agricole among the world Euro unregistered trademark S leading banks. Reflecting this progress, CRA Copyright d'État Agricole was made subject to France Euro Unregistered Trademark S 1984 Banking Act. Previously it had been subject only to the Rural Code. In addition, an interbank agreement was signed to make CRA Copyright d'État Agricole bank cards part of the carte bleue system used by other banks. The Group Euro Unregistered Trademark S business diversification started in the 1980s. The Predica life insurance subsidiary was set up in 1986, while Property and Casualty Unit Pacifica was created in 1990. The group expanded into bank assurance, offering the first retirement savings plans. At this time, many local bank directors were also directors of Groupama, an insurer from the farming sector. There was talk of a merger between the two, but this did not ultimately come to pass. Institutional changes 1988 to 2001. On January 18, 1988, the CNCA Privatization Act came into force. CNCA was transformed into a public limited company, with a 90% stake sold to the regional banks and 10% to staff. CRA Copyright d'État Agricole became fully independent of the government, putting an end to the latter Euro Unregistered Trademark S practice of skimming off surplus funds. In 1990, CRA Copyright d'État Agricole lost the monopoly on granting low-interest loans to farmers, and 1 year later, in 1991, the normalization process was completed as it was allowed to begin financing large corporations. International expansion continued with the acquisition of stakes in Banco Ambrosiano Veneto in Italy in 1989 and Banco Espírito Santo in Portugal in 1991. Consolidation among the regional banks began officially in 1990, with the aim of reducing costs. The aim was to halve the number of regional banks, and that objective had been surpassed by the turn of the 21st century. Meanwhile, 18 of the 94 regional banks were listed on the secondary market through issues of cooperative investment certificates, although most of the share capital of the regional banks remained in the hands of the 5.5 million client stakeholders. In 1993, Lucien Dourou, who led the plan to privatize FNCA, became CNCAA Euro Unregistered Trademark S first chief executive officer, having been appointed by CRA Copyright d'État Agricole from existing staff. In 1996, the group bought Indosuez and then created Indocom, an asset management subsidiary, and CRA Copyright d'État Agricole Indosuez for corporate and investment banking. In 1999, diversification continued as the group took a stake in the newly privatized CRA Copyright d'État Lyonnais, and acquired leading consumer finance company Sofinco. CNCA was listed on the stock market in 2001 under the name CRA Copyright d'État Agricole S.A. This gave the regional banks a listed vehicle through which to carry out major acquisitions. CRA Copyright d'État Agricole in the 21st century, picking up the pace of business diversification 2001 to 2008. The 21st century saw the group continue to diversify its business lineup. Fimef was acquired in 2003. In the same year, CRA Copyright d'État Agricole successfully completed its friendly takeover of CRA Copyright d'État Lyonnais after a market battle was triggered by the governmental Euro Unregistered Trademark S decision to auction off its stake in CRA Copyright d'État Lyonnais in December 2002. The two banks were combined in 2003 and 2004, which led to the different business lines being grouped into subsidiaries. This included the creation of Cailin in 2004 from the merger of the corporate and investment banking activities of CRA Copyright d'État Lyonnais and CRA Copyright d'État Agricole Indosuez. CRA Copyright d'État Lyonnais focused on retail banking and was rebranded as LCL in August 2005. Between 2004 and 2005, the regional banks and CRA Copyright d'État Agricole S.A. embarked on a major development plan aimed at bolstering the regional banks' Euro Unregistered Trademark leading positions in France by gaining a greater presence in major cities, while at the same time increasing the group Euro Unregistered Trademark S international reach. Businesses were established in Egypt, Ukraine, Serbia, Greece, Italy and Portugal. In 2006, CRA Copyright d'État Agricole Assurances was created to bring together the Pacifica and Predica brands. Business overview: the Group Euro unregistered trademark S acquisitions enabled it to strengthen its leadership in French retail banking, expand its position in corporate and investment banking and build up its international network of branches and subsidiaries. By now, the group was the number 1 bank in France with 28% of the domestic market, the global number 2 by revenues and number 10 by profits, according to Fortune magazine, and number 15 worldwide according to Forbes rankings. Crédit Agricole in the 2008-2012 crisis, when the interbank lending market seized up, Crédit Agricole was forced in January 2008 to sell its long-standing stake in Suez for a $1.3 billion and then in May 2008 to organize a $5.9 billion rights issue to which all the regional banks subscribed to meet Basel II regulatory requirements. It also undertook a $5 billion program of non-strategic asset disposals. At the end of 2008, the government decided to loan France a Euro unregistered trademark S6 largest banks a $21 billion in 2 tranches, at an interest rate of 8%, to enable them to continue to play their role in the economy. Crédit Agricole did not take part in the second tranche and repaid the government in October 2009. Crédit Agricole Euro unregistered trademark S crisis exit strategy was well received by the markets, with the share price gaining more than 40% over 2009. In 2012, Crédit Agricole continued to report negative results, posting a loss of around $3 billion in the third quarter. It sold its Greek subsidiary Impouki, which it acquired in 2006 and had to recapitalize, for €1. In all, the bank Euro unregistered trademark S Greek investments cost around $9 billion. Crédit Agricole also withdrew totally from Spanish bank Inter, resulting in a book loss of $193 million, and took a massive $600 million write-down on consumer credit, notably owing to difficulties in Italy. Furthermore, Crédit Agricole had to write down the goodwill on its balance sheet. Goodwill amounted to $17.7 billion in September 2012, well above the actual value. In early February 2013, the bank announced that it would book a $3.8 billion in write-downs and costs a record amount according to the media. Getting back to fundamentals from 2014, in March 2014, the Crédit Agricole Group unveiled its medium-term strategic plan, which put the emphasis on retail banking, insurance and saving. Internationally, the group decided to refocus on its core markets, starting with Italy, the Group Euro unregistered trademark S second largest market. The Crédit Agricole Group sold its Bulgarian subsidiary to Corporate Commercial Bank for a $160 million. On April 22, 2014, Crédit Agricole S.A., Crédit Agricole Nord and Crédit Agricole Nordest announced that they would sell 50% of their stake in Crédit S.A., a Belgian bank created out of the merger of Crédit Agricole Belgique and Santé, to Caisses Coopératives Belges by June 2015. Corporate governance. Crédit Agricole has a 3-tier structure, comprising the local banks, the regional banks and Crédit Agricole S.A. The local and regional banks are cooperative companies. Crédit Agricole S.A. is a joint stock company. Crédit Agricole is one of the leading cooperative companies in the world. Local banks. The 2,509 local banks form the foundation of Crédit Agricole. They have 7.4 million stakeholders, who are both clients and owners of the share capital of the local banks, in accordance with the cooperative governance principle. The local banks hold the bulk of the capital of the regional banks. At the annual general meetings of the local banks, which attract around 500,000 participants every year, the stakeholders appoint over 32,000 volunteer directors. Regional banks. Crédit Agricole Euro unregistered trademark S. Regional banks are cooperative entities and fully fledged banks, offering a wide range of financial products and services to their 20 million clients. They boast a network of some 7,200 branches and 12,000 ATMs, plus more than 7,000 in-store cash points, which provide Crédit Agricole customers with basic banking services. Some regional banks have merged to improve their financial strength and competitiveness, with the total number of regional banks falling from 94 to 39 between 1988 and 2008. Preventing exclusion from banking services. To prevent customers affected by a personal event, such as a death or unemployment, from being excluded from banking services, 30 regional banks have set up point passerelle centers, which provide a friendly ear, mediation and support for clients looking for help to get out of a difficult situation. Caisse Copyright Regional du Nord-Est first introduced the system in 1997. Promoting employment for people with disabilities. Through an association set up to promote the employment of people with disabilities within Crédit Agricole, the Crédit Agricole regional banks devote resources to the recruitment, integration and continued employment of disabled workers. Measures include workstation modifications, transport facilities and training. Since a lack of training makes it harder for people with disabilities to get work, Crédit Agricole has set up work-study training programs to enable people who have their high school diploma to receive post-secondary qualifications. The goal was to recruit more than 800 disabled persons between 2006 and end 2010, and by end 2009, more than 360 permanent contracts and 670 work-study contracts had been signed. Former Miss France runner-up Sophie Vizelaud, who has been deaf from birth, is HK Euro unregistered trademark S official ambassador. Promoting the cooperative model. The regional banks help to promote the cooperative model locally through a variety of initiatives, such as the Perspectives Mutualists Conference Series, and by issuing special bank cards for stakeholders. Phare Copyright DAO Copyright Ration National du Crédit Agricole. Phare Copyright DAO Copyright Ration National du Crédit Agricole is the body through which the regional banks discuss policy, express their views and represent themselves. FNCA plays the role of a trade body. It is a forum for discussions that arise at the grassroots level, and it plays a proactive, guiding role. It represents Crédit Agricole Euro unregistered trademark S regional banks in the group with respect to the public authorities, agricultural trade associations and bodies with authority for cooperative and mutual banking. FNCA provides services to regional banks, particularly in the fields of vocational training, through the Crédit Agricole Mutual Training Center, and human resource management. The senior management team is represented by Dominique Lefebvre, Chairman of Phare Copyright DAO Copyright Ration National du Crédit Agricole, Philippe Bressac, Secretary General of Phare Copyright DAO Copyright Ration National du Crédit Agricole, Bertrand Corbeau, CEO of Phare Copyright DAO Copyright Ration National du Crédit Agricole. Crédit Agricole S.A. In 1988, Caisse Nationale de Crédit Agricole was privatized, becoming Crédit Agricole S.A., a public limited company owned by the regional banks and group employees. In 2001, Crédit Agricole S.A. was floated on the stock market, although the regional banks retained a majority share, as provided for by the group a Euro unregistered trademark S mutual articles of association. Senior management of Crédit Agricole S.A. Chairman, Jean-Marie Sander, CEO, Jean-Paul Chiflet, Board of Directors. The board is made up of members elected by the annual general meeting, representatives of trade organizations, members elected by employees, a non-voting member and a representative of the Works Council. A complex structure, the regional banks own 54% of Crédit Agricole S.A., which in turn holds 25% of their capital in the form of non-voting cooperative securities. An internal debate is continually underway on striking a balance between growing activities that serve the regional banks directly and promoting businesses that lie outside their sphere. Institutional investors, particularly in the UK and US, are not always at ease with this approach. Brand identity, slogan, 1976 to 1987, a euro oe le bon sens proest de chez vos euro. 1987 to 1994, a euro oe le bon sens en action euro. 1994 to 2005, a euro OL Imagination dans le bon sens euro. 2005 to 2011, a euro OE une relation durable, a section a change la vie euro. Since 2011, a euro OE le bon sens de la euro unregistered trademark avenir euro. Visual identity. Financial and market data, the cooperative investment certificates of 15 regional banks, and the shares of Crédit Agricole S.A., the group holding company, are listed on the Paris Stock Exchange. Crédit Agricole S.A. is also a member of the Dow Jones, Eurostoxx 50, SBF 120, Euronext 100, ASPI Eurozone and FTSE4Good Index. Crédit Agricole Group data. The Crédit Agricole Group comprises all the local and regional banks, Crédit Agricole S.A. and all their subsidiaries. Crédit Agricole S.A. Group data. The Crédit Agricole S.A. Group comprises the holding company, Crédit Agricole S.A., as well as all its subsidiaries. Sports sponsorship, cycling. In 1998, following the Tour de France, Crédit Agricole became the lead sponsor of the cycling team led by Roger Leger, previously sponsored by GAN, an insurer. The initial investment was FRF 30 million a year. Over the years, the team won many stages in major cycling races as well as several national championships. In 2008, Crédit Agricole reviewed its sports sponsorship strategy and ended its partnership after 10 years. Rugby. Crédit Agricole has been the main sponsor of the Italian national rugby teams since 2007 via its Italian subsidiary Carapama. Controversies. In September 2007, Crédit Agricole had to book a $250 million charge related to an unauthorized trading loss at its New York subsidiary. On April 18, 2008, Crédit Agricole revealed that it would post $1.2 billion in losses related to subprime mortgage securities. In May 2008, Crédit Agricole sought to raise a $5.9 billion in equity capital from its shareholders. The shares controversially sold off from a 19 to a 6 over the successive period as the financial crisis escalated. In May 2008, Crédit Agricole identified a $5 billion of asset disposals, including the bank's 5.6% stake in Italian bank Intesa Sanpaolo, which was worth an estimated $3 billion. The group purchased in August 2006 IMCI Bank for a $2.2 billion, which it later sold for €1 after suffering a $6 billion of losses in the investment. http www.vulpusinvest.com grant 20,121,008 ttmyghpdf. In 2010, the French government's Autorité Copyright de la Concurrence fined 11 banks, including Crédit Agricole, the sum of €384,900,000 for colluding to charge unjustified fees on check processing, especially for extra fees charged during the transition from paper check transfer to exchange's check image electronic transfer. See also: European Financial Services Roundtable, references. External links, official website.